So how are you, Dr. Manthan?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. And so welcome you to this podcast where we are decoding industry insight for early career professionals and freshers. So
Nice.
shall we start?
Sure.
Okay. So Dr. Manthan, you have had a rare career path from clinical practice to digital health innovation and now advising AI startups.
Right.
What shaped your transition from physician to healthcare founder?
Right. So I think non-conventional path for doctors was unheard of a decade ago. Today things have changed a lot, but earlier you used to only see and imagine doctors in the hospital, imagine doctors having a clinic, and that's what everybody imagines that the healthcare system is all about. They feel it's
Yeah.
only doctor, patient, hospital, clinic. Without understanding that it's a large ecosystem, and only
Agree.
once you work in that ecosystem is you realize that the system breaks at multiple levels. And
Agree.
that I think has been one of the trigger points of me doing these career transitions, understanding what the healthcare system actually looks like and what it should be. Very aspirational, maybe very ambitious, and a big dream to change things in the system, but we can all play a small part. And that's how I transitioned, from access to novel drugs to not having enough research on
Okay.
pharma molecules in India to disseminating that information amongst everyone of how clinical trials actually work and what you should see and understand when you are prescribing new drugs, to then moving to adopting technology. We doctors always get criticized that we are much at
Less
back
technology.
end. Yes, we are technological laggards or dinosaurs when they come to segmenting tech adoption, and hence taking that step into health tech.
Yeah,
uh,
but otherwise, doctor these days use latest machines, right? That way, technology they have adapted, but AI or new age technologies to connecting patients, right? Robotic surgeries and all. This is where I think the new adaptation has to be there, right?
Correct, correct. A lot of it stems from trust issues. I mean, with due respect to the profession, it is also that you are playing with human lives. It is not
That
easy
is the main factor here.
to say sorry if technology fails. If you have a failed banking transaction, you have a chance of getting the money
Yeah,
back.
that's still okay.
But you cannot say. So this is, I think, what they taught us in medical college when we started. Also, the core difference between engineering and medicine, because people generally opt for those two branches after 12th, and it used to be like there is a delete button with all your engineering friends. You don't have a delete button,
You
so
don't
there
have,
is
you know that.
no room for mistakes, and hence
Completely agree.
adoption is slower. Validation is what people require, but
Yeah, your point is valid. The reason for slower adoption.
yes.
There is
So
no delete button
correct, there is
or,
it. So
recover button, undo
yes,
button.
there is nothing. There is no backup drive from where you can recover anything, and hence it's likely that yes, trust is deficit is there, but you should adopt. One should adopt and learn, and that's why I'm doing my bit to talk about AI with them, to talk about technology with doctors, and see that yes, doctors can do a lot of things.
Yes.
Beyond the hospital practice, there are multiple avenues where actually doctors can make a difference to patient lives and society and healthcare in general.
Agree, agree. So, as someone who has built and advised early stage healthcare startups, AI startup, what do you look for when hiring a fresher?
So, I know this is for a lot of students and they come from this generation where hiring managers are more scared than freshers in terms of hiring. And early stage, I think, the expectations are very, very different from hiring into a label. Yeah. And having worked on both sides in large corporate labels, also the hiring strategy is very, very different.
Okay.
You are looking in early stage companies to hire somebody who's very fit for the role, eager to learn. So
To learn, I
technically,
think, is the key here.
yes. So technically, if I'm hiring a fresher, I want them to be an extension of their student days only. See, when we are all students, we are very eager to learn, take up new projects, do more and
Agree.
more things, and not do something solely from an interest of itne
Earning,
paise mein itna hi milega. That
earning.
kind
Yes.
of approach is very rampant today in the
Yeah.
hiring field, and
Agree.
which is not right at any stage. But particularly for freshers, and if you're looking at early stage, people get attracted by the glamour. They listen to this podcast, and I will get 5 DMs that we are you having an opening and we want to join. And of course, all DMs made with ChatGPT without even editing anything. But
Flying any brain, yeah.
yes, but they want that glamour. That glamour that oh, I'm working in a startup, I'm doing this. But that hustle culture on paper and hustle culture and actually doing it is very, very different. And that's where they lag. I once had somebody who had an impression that these companies will have an office and everything the way they show in movies and OTTs, where you have people coming in, doing, celebrating, working, strategizing. And I also once had an intern who said that I don't want to fill Google Sheets and I don't want to do desk research,
You
but
can't be busy at this stage.
no, I want to be into strategy. I want to do not what you do. I want to do what the CEO does also.
And
So
that's what I think. At this stage, you should be open to learning and not very choosy. Okay, I'll not do that or this. You have to wait and understand. Okay, why somebody is asking you to do a particular job and how it is connected to an overall ecosystem the founder or the company is working.
correct, correct. So that is what we are actually looking for when we look at early stage. That you have that eagerness to learn, eagerness to adapt, and understand perception and reality. That they
Got
can be very very different, and
it.
it is not how they show in web series or shows, and it's not how it appears on LinkedIn as well. Real life is very very different from your whatever is appearing on social media, appearing on other platforms, which are
Right.
either fictional or a cross section of the best parts of your life, right?
Best
That
part. Yes.
yeah. So people
They are
will
just
write the best parts
yes.
of their life. So you have to be
So what about the experienced people? How your viewpoint changes there? If you are hiring experienced people,
right.
so how or what are the things that you look for?
So when we are looking at experienced people, it is generally people who are very fit to do that job, very insightful in terms of they bring that experience from theory to practice. They work not just in terms of number of years somewhere, but are domain experts, have probably built something or have expertise in that field in a way that can contribute to this organization.
So you look
Uh,
for hands-on people.
Yes, but also again a caveat there, just like how freshers have unrealistic expectations, experienced people sometimes come with this idea that my boredom from corporate is going to be relieved here, or that it is going to be very very similar but just fast paced, and that breaks because you come from processes and environments which are there. So for experienced people to unlearn and learn a new dynamic, a
Relearn,
new
unlearn
working
and relearn
style
is very necessary.
is very very critical. But when you are hiring for experienced people, I think in early stage world, I am most worried about retention, that whether we'll be able to retain that kind of talent and get that kind of talent unless you have the aptitude and resources to pay, because all experts come at a price which is fair
Yes.
and due. And that's where there is a bit of expectation changes, but yeah, both are very very different. In both have learning. That's all I can say. That is the
Yes,
common thread.
yes, I completely agree, right? So, in your experience across pharma, hospitals, and startup, how have skill expectations changed in the last 5, 10 years, especially for roles in digital health?
I think the last decade has been very, very transformational, and particularly the last 5 years, where artificial intelligence became a buzzword, and today it's like a part of everyday life, just like
Towards
smart.
the end of 2022, it has become buzz for everyone, right?
So earlier, I think digital used to only be email campaigns or messaging campaigns or something on that front, or maybe telemedicine started as digital health or something. COVID changed a lot of things. So 2020 to 2022 was the catalyst where people all had to learn these skills. Right, today you and I are talking from different parts here, and this is going to reach out to people across the country in
Millions
very
of
different
people, yeah.
mediums. So this was not very very common at a given point in time, right? So that kind of learning media or using that digitally, people were not savvy, were not keen on learning. Uh, then what changed again was the use of AI, and that came as a threat. Today, people look at it as a threat that my job is under question if I don't have these skills. So learning changed in a lot of way. People trying to approach the job market also changed in many many ways. People
Very.
started looking at nuances, newer skills which people had. Today, you will be amazed at the amount of roles that are there for influencer marketing, reel creators, social media campaigns. Digital marketing used to be a very very small part of a good to have thing in a company, and today
It
it's like
is
large
now the must to have.
must have, right? So you cannot work without it. So that changed, the definitions and perception changed. When I used to even talk to people of doing something in digital health, so to say, people would say, oh, okay, so you do online consultation. That was the definition of digital health. Today, people will be like, oh, do
Yes.
you use AI? How is AI changing? I want to learn about AI. So that has changed, evolved a lot in the last 5 to 10 years.
Agree. So you spoke about AI. So what AI tools or competencies are becoming essential today, even for non-tech healthcare professionals?
I think for everyone, right? One, the way we are looking at search domain, that has changed. The way we are looking or consuming information, that has changed. So when you look at AI, most people today are only using it. I think a survey had found that a large majority of people only use it for writing, purposes, like to
Hmm.
draft emails
Agree.
or to
Agree.
search information, which
Yes.
may or may not be reliable, may not be the right use.
Yeah, I
I
have gone through such similar research where it is written that yes, most of AI tools are used for writing purpose.
Correct. So we need, of course, you need it for that. You need to use and integrate AI tools into your day-to-day jobs to optimize your work day, to make you more and more productive. If you go to roles, of strategic advisors to C-suite CEOs or others in large companies, if you ever look at their job descriptions, a good job description for that will always give you subsections on how this, advisor or assistant in that role should optimize time in percentages, that 30% of this time you should free up for the
Correct.
C-suite leader. And
Right.
that's exactly how you should treat AI. Today you have the liberty of being an individual contributor, but at the same time still having a team of 50 people. And those 50 people are your AI assistants, who are doing different jobs for you in a way that makes you productive. But your strategic insight, your skills, that you core skills and expertise and domain expertise that you have, you should not rely on AI for that. You have to make AI an extension of you rather than you just adapting those tools. So you have to learn how to prompt, how to probably meta prompt, how to create and utilize those tools in your day-to-day life, right? That you want to do this. For example, you want to publish this podcast. You are going to look at tools, AI tools which are going to help you in editing. You're going to look at AI tools which
Yes. But eventually we will go through each, right? And then do our manual efforts as well so that the output is good.
correct. And that is what it says, very cliche with garbage in, garbage out, which we talk about AI, because it is going to do what you are doing. Recently, lot of theories are coming out. One on how your brain cells are getting weaker if you are using AI or
AI tool.
delegating all your tasks to AI, right? There is a lot of research that also comes where you say that, dependence or AI is making you psychologically so dependent by ego massaging you. It is only feeding you that, oh, you are right, you are doing a great job, it's teaching you those kind of skills. So people, are really, you have to figure out how you really want to use it, how you want to optimize it. Various tools, various learning things are possible. You need to know what to apply where. I can give you a list of 50 tools, but you may not be even needing 5 of them. It's like all your apps in the phone. You use only 5 or 6 apps in a day, and you know when and where to use it. And that's how you should treat AI.
Yeah, agree completely. As you rightly mentioned, we should know how to use it and where to use it. So I went through your profile and also going through your work, right? And I found that you emphasize on empathy, engagement in patient care. So how do soft skills like communications, collaborations influence hiring in clinical tech teams like yours?
I think in any team, my core first criteria to hire will be based on soft skills. And it is very, people used to focus on it as an add-on thing. Early days MBA curriculum also had soft skills as a small part. Today, the medical curriculum also includes soft skills to help you understand, talk to patients, talk to other stakeholders. The critical aspect is that, if you do not have the right soft skills, you will not be able to project your idea, project yourself, or explain it to people in the right way. And hence, you can have a truckload of information. You can have technical depth where nobody can beat you. You may be the best clinician, you may be the best AI ML expert, the best data science expert. What doesn't translate into something that you can explain to people in a way that they understand is a complete failure of your technical domain or knowledge, because it's going waste. It's like having the best book written but nobody is reading it. So it's the same philosophy that applies, and hence soft skills are very critical in any role.
So, so you give more weightage to communication in this case.
Yes, communication in general, which is verbal, non-verbal, executive presence, emails, and everything. Today we are seeing a rampage of soft skills being delegated to AI, which again is going to be very detrimental, because you are really not learning anything, within AI or within those skills.
Agree with you. So without soft skills, you can't be the face of the product or face of the company, right?
Right.
Even you have the skills, the hardcore technical skills, the company may hire you, but may not pay you equally to a person who has those skills compared to you, plus additional skills, say soft skills, right? Because then company knows that I can send this person to represent my product, represent my company, right? And
Correct.
he's equally good in the product side or technical side as well.
Correct. So
So that
also
way,
internal communication, not
yes,
just
yes.
external stakeholders.
Internal
Product,
as well.
yeah, if clinical is not able to explain to product, product is not able to explain to engineering, you are eventually going to
Will
get
not
a
work out,
disaster.
yes.
So
Yes, agree, agree. So do projects, internships, or even things like mentorship really help a candidate stand out? So what demonstrate real world readiness for you?
I think See, it's also one is doing those things, and there is absolutely a lot of merit in doing and learning on the job. I strongly believe in a 70-20-10 principle, where you have that 70% learning happens on the job. You are
Okay.
actually learning everything by doing. Learning by doing is always 70%. 20% is social learning, for probably them listening to this podcast or them interacting with me on a one-on-one basis or coming to you for guidance or going to conferences or network events and learning from them. And 10% is your theory knowledge, which you're learning in your professional courses. So each of these help. Now, the problem that happens is one is people are looking at courses or projects as a quick bilateral or a lateral, quick lateral entry into a job.
Corporate.
Where if I have done this, I should be able to get this, or this gives me an edge over another candidate in terms of competition. And that is where a lot of expectation mismatch happens. When you do these things, it's about what you learned there, how did you apply those, and what of that are you going to bring to the table to this organization is what matters. You can do a 5-day course at IIM and then have IIM on your CV pasted forever. But what you learned there, if that is not, what an MBA graduate from there has learned, it is not going to be the same. You can be a social media intern in a company, and then if you have only posted things, that your bosses have told you to do without thinking of, how the algorithm works, what are content strategies or working or devising on those domains, you are not going to really, benefit the organization in any way. So you must take up all these opportunities, but take up with the right mindset that I'm doing this to learn, to enhance and to upskill myself, not to upsell myself. And that is what you need to have in mind. It may help you. It may really, one project or one internship may actually open doors for you in ways you may not even know. But at the same time, it may not make any difference in you versus another candidate who's not done it, because maybe they have those skills even without you doing that.
So, according to you, for those projects and intensive, they has to take it as seriously as they take their job, or they will be taking their job. Right,
Yeah.
learning everything, that is important.
Yes.
For names, like, it should not be that I am doing a project or doing an internship. There has to be real learning. Agree with you. So, what are the common red flags you noticed in early career candidates during interview or your mentorship sessions?
One is over expectation, not in terms of salary, not in terms of work, but in terms of what they feel that a corporate job or a job in a startup will entail.
Okay.
Two is also a lot of fluff. While we spoke about soft skills, some people want to rely only on soft skills to get a job. The balance has to be there. Your technical depth has to be
Yeah.
100%, and soft skills are an add-on to it. It cannot, fill for your
It
lacunae.
helps you to present your technical knowledge. So you
Correct.
have to have technical knowledge, so only you can present your technical knowledge. Right?
Correct.
That skills is the presentation part.
Correct. So what is happening of late is people are, writing a lot of things on their CV thanks to a lot of modern day tools and learning or copy paste system, where they are not able to justify anything that they have done. That is a big red flag. Where you are quoting something and then you're not justifying. Overemphasis on certifications or overemphasis on random open source learning courses. See, completing a course or learning from a course has 2-3 parts. One is entry level. How do you enter that course? Through competitive exams, through interviews, and what help your selection criteria. I can do tons of open learning courses. I
Yeah,
go
there are a
on.
lot of in market, and people do all those courses and write in their CV as if they have done and got
Oh,
expertise to it.
absolutely. You will find them writing on their headline Harvard and Stanford and everything. And when you open it, you realize they've done from Coursera, an open
Or
course which
free courses given
anybody
by
can
those
do.
institutes.
Yeah, so anybody can do it. So that becomes a bit of an issue. Third is also, I think, not being prepared. We also see a lot of them relying solely that we'll just talk it out. What do they expect from a fresher? What are they going to evaluate us on? We don't want to do it. Some come with the understanding that this is like a viva, and I'm going to be given questions and they will ask that. So that is again, a big red flag. Fourth, because of coming back to that expectation, is understanding of culture and work culture. The work ethos, people these days, and I'm very a big proponent and advocate of work-life balance, mental health, work from anywhere, all that policies. I love those and propagate those. But the point that you come with expectations and you start interviews by what are my working hours going to be, how many workday weeks are there, how many holidays do I get, rather than understanding of what my typical work day will look like.
They
People
will
want
be.
to know what is the time of work, what are other
Yes,
days
this
that
will
we
become like
celebrate.
must to have questions. They ask us all these questions. Okay, you rightly mentioned work time, working days, right? Everything, holidays. Yeah, you pointed out everything that these days people are asking. And absolutely, they are not asking what all things that I will be doing, right? What will be my learning opportunities, growth opportunities? Nobody
So
asks that.
they don't study the JD, they don't study the company or know anything about it. I mean, don't even spend 10 minutes to actually look at the website and understand people, or go through the profile of your hiring manager. See, it's not considered rude. It's in fact considered good. I am always happy if I see that a candidate has viewed my profile, on the day of the interview or before that. So, or after that also. So you have that, you want to learn, you are curious, you want to be well prepared. So people are not really very well prepared. They are putting in the JD on AI, asking what are 10 questions and then giving me those 10 answers. So today's day and age, I'm very wary about questions and answers in the interview which are AI driven as well. That also is a red flag. It is good in a way that, okay, they know how to use it, but emphasis only on that is a red flag.
It's a red flag. Agree. Okay. So, since you have worked across AI, pharma, content, clinical operations, so how important it is for candidates to develop T-shaped skill set that blends depth and breadth both?
I think very, very important, right? One, when I look at people, is you should be a generalist who specializes, is how I look at it, right? And I always take this analogy from medicine where you
Yeah,
are
I
taught.
was about to come to that. You
Yes,
first complete your MBBS and then you choose and specialize, and that
correct.
automatically gives you a T-shaped learning.
Correct. So you always have that, and that is something that we are fortunate that the medical curriculum is designed that way. Not all curricula are designed that way, but that is a learning that you should apply across. While you are even on the job, I feel when you are in a function, in a given function, you develop those skills in depth. For example, if I give my example, when I joined medical affairs in pharma companies, my idea was in depth. I will learn about the medical function, right? Medical affairs, clinical trials, all of that in depth. At the same time, I need to understand everything about marketing, sales, training, access, and all those other functions as well. Because if you don't have a general understanding of that, all your depth in it again will not flow there. So it actually has
Never.
to flow, right? When you look at
Yes.
the tree, it is always flowing on all directions. So that's
So
how I
if
look.
you don't have the knowledge of entire ecosystem, right, which represents your horizontal line in the T,
Correct.
you can't be called a specialist, right?
Right.
Because the action that you take will have an reverse action on the above, right, a horizontal line that you have to understand.
Correct.
And yes, medical learning or medical medicines or the MBBS, whoever has designed, right, they had this right thought, right? First, we should give them the entire knowledge. So they ask you to complete the MBBS and then they ask you to choose a specialization, right? Completely agree with it, right? Very rightly designed. And all of our courses or any curriculum we design should have this T-shaped thing in mind while designing them. So, what are the future trends in hiring, especially with the rise of AI, remote care, and decentralization in your industry?
I think we are already seeing AI evaluating resume, AI bots doing screening interviews and paneling. So, which is going to is changing significantly in a way where you are now seeing the rampant use of AI in hiring processes. At the same time, the trend today is going to have people who have some knowledge about that skill if that role or demand deserves it. Today, we are not still seeing routine job descriptions having AI as a core skill or as a good to have skill. It will start featuring. Today it is there in roles where somewhere or the other it is needed a little bit, but eventually it will be needed. I foresee that in 5 years we will have, even for medical people understanding that do you understand AI or not? Because I always talk about this in all forums that it's not that doctors should know how to use AI or know prompting or coding, but doctors should know where AI fails or where AI can go wrong
That is
in
most
healthcare so that you do no harm. You should understand that. So that kind of application or understanding based learning is going to come up. We are going to also see a lot of cross-functional courses being designed and that kind of roles coming up because the new education policy works in that direction where people of different specialities are able to choose one. For example, I had gone to ICT a couple of months ago to give a talk to engineering people who've taken management as a substream, and they were one of the first institutes to do it. And they're actually getting people from the industry who've done things to talk about these domains. So that kind of integration of skills will improve for people who are even graduating. So it is gone are the days where I will now expect that a graduate is only taught and has graduated. I will have to teach everything on the job. That cross pollination and cross skills will work. For example, today health tech is a very niche domain. And people in health tech, you either have engineers or you have doctors. You don't have people who've done probably both. Very few. But tomorrow, if somebody wants to enter health tech, it may become that, oh, do you know basic coding or do you know basic AI work or do you know basic ML or technology in some way or the other? Or engineers building it will probably want to understand something about human physiology, biology in some way to develop those skills because that will now be formalized. Today, it is all informal learning, but going forward, a lot of informal is
Integrations
also
in
going to be
curriculum.
integrated. Yeah, the ecosystem has formalized learning, and we'll have more and more dual experts coming out.
Okay. Yeah, that is that will be the need of our.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Manthan, if you were graduating from med school today, how would you position yourself for the digital future of care?
I think I would have probably specialized through the new courses that IITs and others IISCs offer for doctors to do that, right? So I would have probably integrated that technological domain as well, and then had probably a substream of management in that to make me more and more holistic. I feel doctors learn a lot about human body and many things to handle. They have the grit and resilience to do many things, but don't probably get the opportunity and time to do those learnings, which today would have been very novel. Back when I did medicine, you had those specialties only to choose from. But today I could go back and do a master's in technology somewhere from IIT, and then do an integration with probably an IIM to also do management, which will make me very holistic. I'm a healthcare professional, tech expert, and a management expert who can probably do everything. And this would have completed in the same time that I would have probably finished an MDDM.
So, will you think will be completed in the same time because you guys invest 5 years, right, to become
Correct.
MBBS, and then 2 years or 1 year to another specialization, and then you are talking about learning AI, or it has to be integrated part in
Before
those
that,
3 years.
so pre MD. So if you just do MBBS 5.5, and then you do probably a 2-year integrated MTech or whatever the degree is called, and then maybe a 1-year B school. So it comes down to same. It takes you 3 years to complete MD, and then you have all these bonds which you have to fulfill from the government. So it takes
Yes,
you
yes.
a much
If you
longer
do,
time.
especially you do from government colleges,
Correct.
then.
So here you will have 3 degrees in the time that you would have barely finished 2.
So, is that like people who do from private institute MBBS are at more advantageous position, or they will have to invest the same amount of time? I'm just talking
They
about
don't,
not
they
the
don't,
learning or expertise.
yeah, they don't have the bond. So yeah, the government bond is not there, so they can start working immediately. That
Okay.
the difference is.
That is the only difference that can. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Manthan, for answering all these questions. Right. I'm sure this will help our audience to understand the current hiring trends and the expectations right from the candidates. And आपने एकदम अच्छा से बताया था इतने में इतना मिलेगा. This mentality will not work for
Right,
especially for freshers or early career professionals. They
right,
have to think big. They have to be focused more on learning.
correct.
And if they know their work, which I believe automatically the money will come in.
True.
So this generation is like, or anybody wrong, they have a wrong belief that, okay, we should just focus on fancy things or money at the initial days. I think that is what they should not do. They should focus on learning from the expert giving their time to them should be counted as more important than asking just the fancy things or fancy CTCs packages. So I think this podcast will help them to understand, and people like you from industry coming and guiding them will obviously be counted in their
Right,
career.
right.
Thank you, Dr. Manthan.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Thank you so much.